Thanks, Sophie. You're watching South East Today, our top story tonight.
Step away from the door, please, Robert.
Guilty of attempted murder, the man who stabbed a Kent police officer 23 times with a pair of scissors.
No police officer should go to work at any day of the year, in any situation, and expect to experience that level of violence.
We're live with reaction from Maidstone Crown Court. After the deadliest year on record, how Britain and Europe are joining forces to try to stop the small boat channel crossings. More than 3,000 cases of neglect across the southeast. The RSPCA highlights a rise in animal cruelty.
I think we need a bit of music. Thank you, Wongi!
And the Kent producers modernising pantomime with a Cinderella who doesn't marry Prince Charming. Welcome to the programme, I'm Chrissy Reedy. A man who stabbed a Kent police officer 23 times with a pair of scissors has been found guilty of attempted murder. Robert Jenner attacked PC Sean Quinn last year, leaving him with a gaping wound across his forehead, which exposed his skull. Officers had gone to Jenner's flat in Maidstone after he was suspected of running naked in a nearby park, exposing himself to women. Simon Jones reports from Maidstone Crown Court.
Scissors in hand, mid-attack. Robert Jenner left his victim with more than 20 injuries to his head, face and neck.
Step away from the door, please, Robert.
Officers had gone to Jenner's flat in Maidstone because they suspected he'd been running around a nearby park naked. He had 11 previous convictions for exposure, despite saying it was his right as a naturist not to wear clothing.
Yeah, he's just barricaded. He's got lots of furniture behind the door. The door is actually open with holes in it, but he's just barricaded probably his whole flat behind the door at the moment. Out. Show me your hands. Show me your hands.
Jenner didn't want to speak to the police. He becomes increasingly angry after an officer uses pepper spray twice to try to incapacitate him.
Give me your hand.
PC Quinn tries to reason with Jenner.
Put them down now.
But then the officer notices Jenner has picked up something.
Got a pair of scissors.
PC Quinn eventually gets inside, only to be subjected to what's been described as a sustained and savage attack.
PC Quinn was doing his job, as thousands of police officers do every day here in Kent, and went to make an arrest, and as a result of attempting to make that arrest was assaulted in a most despicable manner.
Jenner claimed he was acting to defend himself from what he believed was an unlawful arrest or unlawful entry to his flat. The prosecution said given the severity of the attack here, he must have been trying to end the officer's life. The jury agreed. PC Quinn had to undergo extensive surgery after the attack. Are you relieved, PC Quinn?
Oh, thank you.
Police say his willingness to confront Jenner shows how officers are prepared to face danger to protect others.
Show me your hands. Climb over and get out.
Well, Simon Jones is at Maidstone Crown Court for us this evening. So, Simon, I gather Jenner wasn't there today then to hear the guilty verdict?
No, he decided to stay in his prison cell and not come to court. In fact, he hasn't turned up at all during this trial. The judge said it was his right to do that. The judge said when it comes to sentencing, which will happen in the coming weeks, he will look at all possible options, including potentially a life sentence. As for PC Quinn's family, they were in court. Some family members wept as the verdict was read out. PC Quinn has suffered life-changing injuries. He hasn't yet been able to return to work. The police say they are offering him support to allow him to get back as soon as possible to doing the job that he loves. But the police say ultimately it was pure chance that the injuries he received didn't turn out to be fatal.
OK, thanks, Simon. The UK's Border Security Command is warning tonight that channel crossings by migrants using small boats to try to reach the southeast coast are the most dangerous they've ever been. It's been the deadliest year on record, with more than 70 deaths, and today Britain has signed an agreement with 4 European countries to step up cooperation against people smuggling gangs. Our investigations reporter Alex Bish has been to Belgium to see how European police forces are trying to stop the boats.
The criminal organizations, they are increasing the numbers of people they put on one boat. We're talking about 80 to 100 people on one boat.
It's a touristic zone, so we don't want any build-up of camps, so we don't want any camps in our dunes, we don't want any safe houses in our neighborhood.
These small boat crossings are the most dangerous they have ever been.
Hazardous channel crossings on these small boats have already claimed dozens of lives this year, but these journeys often begin further away from the now infamous French coast. We're in Belgium to see how police from all over Europe are tackling the gangs before they get to the French beaches. They've noticed a disturbing trend here. More migrants are being packed into the boats.
They use it as a quick earning criminal money. We're talking about 80 to 100 people on one boat. We see people dying on the sea, getting overboard, and they even suffocate or almost suffocate on the boats while they're there.
The average number of migrants crammed into a boat has indeed been rising over the last few years. In 2020, there was an average of 13 people per boat. This year, it's 53. That's why authorities in Belgium work with the British and other Europeans to disrupt the supply of boats coming through their country.
We saw an increase of nautical equipment heading to our country. It's of bad quality. It's not up to maritime standards at all. Now we see also the use of inner tubes instead of life jackets, so it's really putting lives at danger. So we have to hit them hard and make sure that they understand they are nowhere safe.
This footage from Europol shows a smuggling gang's HQ in Germany. These are the very criminal gangs operating between France and Belgium.
Well, Belgium, from its geography, has always been a hub. Organised crime groups have their logistical cells here.
As the region's prosecutor, Anne pursues the gangs through the courts. She says tackling them requires worldwide cooperation.
We are trying to do work as well with source countries like Iraq and Turkey, because there are the leaders and there is the money.
Well, the boat smugglers always come at night, so we use things that work at night. Example, these drones. These drones have the thermal camera.
Here in De Panne, we're 10 miles from Dunkirk. There's only ever been a handful of boat launches here, but that doesn't mean security isn't taken seriously. And our government has given just over £1 million to Belgian law enforcement. These patrols are key to preventing the area becoming a new front line for smuggling.
I think that why we are so successful, because we do it continuously. We don't do an action this week and maybe an action next month. No, every day we do it. It's like brushing your teeth. If you brush it twice, you will get white teeth. If you brush it only when you eat chocolate in the weekend, you'll get yellow teeth.
As the clampdown continues, some smugglers are reverting to tried and tested tactics. We're going inland to see how lorries are still being targeted as a way into the UK.
So they climb up, and then they climb up on the roof, so nobody sees them, certainly in the dark, and then they go on top of the trailers. So the driver then did the security checks, everything was fine. They go to the UK, but the immigrant was on top of it.
This haulage firm, about 40 miles from Calais, has had to install scanners and barbed wire.
It's an European, English problem, but now everybody's taking it out to the haulier. This year we invested, I think now a lot, I think 100,000 euros already, and my clients are not paying for this. That's the problem.
Thousands of migrants are still camped across coastal northern France as they wait to try and cross the channel. It's a world away from the governor's house in Bruges.
What we try to do with the support of the UK is to try to disrupt the supply chain.
The authorities here are determined not to see similar encampments on the Belgian side.
We don't want to have tent camps. So if you have starting with 100, 200 people and you do nothing, then after some months you get a tent camp of 2,000, 3,000 people, and then you can't manage it.
Back in London, those on the front line claim this cooperation is starting to see some results.
Because of the disruptive work that we've carried out, working with lots of European partners, there are fewer boats, there are fewer engines in supply, and so therefore organised crime gangs are taking greater risks. Their risk appetite is higher, they are greedy to line their pockets.
But with more than 20,000 migrants having crossed in small boats in the last few months, the whole of Europe has a long journey ahead. Alex Bish, BBC South East Today, Belgium.
Well, the Labour MP for Dover, Mike Tapp, joins us now from Westminster. Good evening to you, Mr Tapp. More than 20,000 migrants have reached the UK in small boats since your party came to power in July. Numbers have increased year on year. We've heard a lot of tough talking from Labour since you came to power. When will we start to see the numbers of small boat crossings come down?
Well, you haven't just seen tough talking, you've also seen tough action. We've set up the Border Security Command, and you've seen today this diplomatic talks ongoing with Germany, Italy, the Dutch, the French, but also Iraq, forming these international partnerships to take on the smuggling gangs so that we can stop these small boats even getting to the borders. But I stood here the day after the election and made it really clear that there is no magic wand to wave on this, and it does take time to have an impact.
The thing is, there are a lot of meetings, discussions, Germany last night, today, but all the while these talks are happening, there are still more boats coming.
Well, look, I've worked in the intelligence world in the past, and you can't just go at this with a wrecking ball and gimmicks like the Conservatives did. Firstly, you need to form an intelligence picture, and that's what setting up the Border Security Command and bringing in the likes of MI5 will do, but also working with our partners upstream. And that's really important because you have to understand the problem in order to combat it. We're going after the smuggling gangs. You're already seeing results there, and it's only going to get worse for these smuggling gangs. Essentially, we're going to treat them like terrorists.
Well, you heard Alex say in the report there that the average number is 53 in a boat. Labour scrapped the Conservative government's, the Conservatives government say, you know, you scrapped their scheme about going to Rwanda to process claims. What is your deterrent? What is Labour's deterrent now?
Well,
is there one?
Rwanda wasn't a deterrent. It sent 4 voluntarily to Rwanda. It cost millions of pounds to the taxpayer, and would have taken 99 years to deport all those that crossed in that way. Our deterrent is firstly taking on the gangs, but also we're speeding up the processing here. We've already seen 10,000 deportations, 9,400, and 3 of the largest deportation flights on record. So getting a system that actually functions is a deterrent in itself, because people will be deported when they shouldn't be here.
OK, Mike Tapp, Labour MP for Dover, thank you very much for speaking to us. A man in his 40s has died after being hit by a car near Chatham. The pedestrian was hit by a silver Kia at around 8 o'clock last night in Walderslade. Kent Police are appealing for dash cam footage and urging anyone who saw what happened to get in touch. A crackdown on the misuse of blue badges for disabled drivers has been launched in Brighton and Hove. The City Council's working with Sussex Police to protect disabled parking spaces for people who genuinely need them. It's estimated that 20% of blue badges in the city are being misused. A woman forced to sleep in her car after the breakdown of a relationship says she's grateful to have a roof over her head for Christmas, thanks to help from a Sussex charity. More than 1,200 rough sleepers asked their local council for help across the South East over the last year. And Rosie is now rebuilding her life, she says, after receiving support from Turning Tides.
Turning Tides have helped me so much. I moved into Roughy Place in March, and since then they've done nothing but support me with everything and anything, whether it be talking to somebody about my problems and my past trauma, or whether it's just been supporting me with applications for things. They've been really, really helpful and helped me get on the council housing list.
The RSPCA says there's been a worrying increase in cases of animal neglect across the South East, with more than 3,000 incidents in Kent, Sussex and Surrey this year. Oliver Whitfield-Mirchich is live at the RSP Centre in Patcham near Brighton for us this evening. So Oliver, the RSPCA is urging people to seek help before their pet gets ill.
Yes, and the key advice is not to abandon your pets this festive season. Now, Sparkles here was found malnourished from a multi-cat household and was also flea-ridden. Unfortunately, not the only animal that has been neglected in our region. As we've just been hearing there's been hundreds of similar cases.
Puppies Frank, Leslie and Harry are finally receiving the care they need. The Staffordshire Bull Terriers, along with 9 of their siblings, were abandoned by their previous owner. Aged only 8 weeks old when they arrived at the Brighton RSPCA centre, the dogs were malnourished, infected with worms and had scab-ridden coats. Rescue workers say it's sadly not unusual.
We're seeing a lot more abandonments. We're seeing a lot more neglect, so animals that aren't getting fed or not getting fed properly or not getting veterinary treatment, and we're seeing a lot of people come to us simply not wanting their animals anymore.
Across England, the RSPCA says it received almost 49,000 reports of pet neglect in the first 9 months of this year, a quarter higher than the same period in 2023. In Sussex, there's been a 12% increase in calls to the charity's emergency cruelty line. It's slightly higher in neighbouring Kent, with 14.5% more reports, while Surrey has seen concerns for animals increase by 27%, the joint third highest in England. During COVID, illicit breeding led to a surge in pets being sold. The past 3 years has seen the number of animals being deserted rising by a third, with financial pressures partly to blame. Renetta the rabbit was dumped at just 5 weeks old, with a severe back injury that was almost fatal.
For some people, they are a luxury and they are an accessory, and they are easily expendable. So they are the first ones to suffer, which is a sad state of affairs, but not for all people, but we are seeing an increasing amount of it.
From chatty birds like Ashley the dancing African grey parrot to slithering snakes and reptiles, this shelter is a temporary home to a wide range of animals. Staff here just hope that once the novelty of Christmas has worn off, they don't see even more mistreated pets in 2025.
And it's not just cute cats here like Sparkles that are being abandoned. Within the past hour, 8 tarantulas have been found left on the side of the road in black bin bags in Lewes. They've now been brought here. They're being taken care of by specialist staff. It just goes to show, though, that the role of taking care of these animals that have been left to fend for themselves is a year-round job.
All right, thanks, Ollie. It is 10 minutes to 7. This is our top story tonight. A man who stabbed a Kent police officer 23 times with a pair of scissors has been found guilty of attempted murder. Robert Jenner attacked PC Sean Quinn in Maidstone last year, leaving him with a gaping wound across his forehead, which exposed his skull.
Also in tonight's programme, after a cloudy and damp day, it's going to be staying dry for the rest of the week. I'll have the details for you a little later in the programme.
And if you've got a story for us, we'd of course love to hear from you. You can send us an email to southeasttoday@bbc.co.uk, or you can get in touch via WhatsApp. You can use the number on the screen or scan the QR code. Now, students at Hadlow College near Tunbridge have been working in a brand new high-tech greenhouse, which could help secure the future of British horticulture. Illuminated with thousands of LED lights and run by computers, but with no soil at all, it's been built in partnership with the greenhouse giant Thanet Earth, which supplies homegrown produce to UK supermarkets all year round. Hannah Rowe has been given a tour for tonight's special report.
2 tons of tomatoes, 2,250 meals worth, donated to charities, and all of this grown by students in just a few months. How, you ask? All of it was harvested from this state-of-the-art facility. It is a greenhouse, but it looks like it belongs in a spaceship.
This is a really high-tech greenhouse where we've got all of these lights that you can see behind me, which are really good at promoting the growth of the crop. So it means that our next crop, which will come in January, low light, poor temperatures, but it will grow. And in theory, we could grow 365 days a year in here with this light and this technology.
This pioneering setup is a training facility for students at Hadlow College. The first of its kind in the UK, it's been used since June to give students a slice of real-life, futuristic farming. Moving into the industry now, you know, it's a changing world out there for you guys, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, with climate change and everything, everything's changing. We're up to date with all the stuff working here at Hadlow. Keeps us all up to date.
Managing this new age technology requires a practised hand, but done right, it's fantastically sustainable.
I graduated last year and yeah, we're at the pinnacle of technology here, to be honest. In here we water to the point of runoff for the bags. Everything that's collected in the gutter system gets ultraviolet sterilised and filtered, and then that minimises water consumption and also chemical usage for the nutrients, which is better for the environment, and it's great for students to see as well.
So is this the future of horticulture?
This is part of it. This is just part of fresh produce. It's part of horticulture. In theory, you can grow here in a car park using this sort of facility. You still need the perfect soil for growing all of the other crops in the UK.
These students may mean a future where British-grown produce is on our shelves all year round. Hannah Rowe, BBC South East Today, Hadlow.
Now, it's the time of year when our theatres are full of glitz, glamour and glitter for the annual pantomime season. The traditional panto stories may be centuries old, but they're updated and rewritten every year to stay relevant to modern audiences, as David Silito's been finding out in Canterbury.
I think we need a bit of music. Thank you, Wongi!
Canterbury and the Marlow Theatre's Beauty and the Beast, a mix of a traditional story and a few topical references.
Please welcome Reagan!
Reagan, a tribute to Australia's viral Olympic sensation with her innovative approach to breakdancing. And behind it all, a panto impresario. This is just one of 10 he's written this year.
So how many have you written in your career?
In my career, I've written about 150 pantomimes, which is a lot. But it's interesting, pantomime has to evolve. We're called evolution, and the reason it's survived for over 150 years is because it's constantly evolving.
Evolving?
The sheep outside.
Well, to find out more, I was invited to see where the magic is created.
And here we are, in what is a farm in the middle of the Kent countryside. But this is where we've been told the magic happens. Martin, do you know exactly where?
It's behind you, David.
Of course, it's behind me. There we go. It's a panto wonderland in here.
Carpentry workshop.
Meet Emily Wood, the boss of this huge panto workshop.
How many fairies have you got, did you say?
Which helps theatres across the UK create West End quality productions. But it's not just about updating sets and lighting, it's also about updating the stories. And this year, one of their Cinderellas is going to have a very different Happy Ever After.
The story, girl meets boy, she's in distress, boy comes and rescues her.
Have we met before?
And I just think that's not so relevant anymore, and actually people don't want to see that on stage so much. So for the first time ever this year, we're just going to play with that, and we'll see. It's really interesting.
Cinderella's not going to marry the prince.
Are you shocked? Yeah, she's going...
I'm appalled.
Well, we'll see. We might have got it wrong. It's going to be really interesting. And that's what's great about this job, is you can play with these things.
It is, though, only one Cinderella they're experimenting with. The rest are staying very traditional. You meddle with panto at your peril.
That was David Silito reporting from Canterbury. And speaking of panto queens, Rachel Mackley's here.
Seamless link. Well, yeah, I do love panto.
I know you do.
The weather's not quite as festive. No.
Okay.
Some may say the weather today has been a little bit gloomy. There isn't much behind me apart from grey clouds. It's felt a bit chilly as well. We've had some brisk northeasterly winds to thank for that. But of course, after this weekend storm, well, at least it has been mostly dry. There has been some light patchy rain and drizzle. We've got high pressure that's going to be building for tomorrow, so fingers crossed tomorrow should be mostly a dry picture. The winds ease off a little bit. It's still a bit of a cool story. Temperatures, again, only reaching highs around 6 or 7 degrees, but we lose those brisk northeasterly winds. So earlier, well, all of us were seeing lots of cloud around, and also there were some scattered showers, in particular where that cloud cover got particularly thick. We were seeing some light patchy rain and drizzle. And as we head overnight, well, all that cloud and those brisk northerly winds mean overnight temperatures are staying well above freezing. So they're only dropping there to around 4 or 5 degrees. And as we head through the day for Wednesday, well, they're going to be doing well to get much above those values. So it's cloudy and it's mild, it's overcast and it's dull. As I was saying, it's fairly gloomy as we head through the afternoon, but those winds start to ease off. Temperatures will reach highs of around 6 or 7 degrees. So generally it's a cloudy and dry story, and more of the same over the next couple of days. Heading then from Wednesday over into Thursday, overnight temperatures only dropping to around 3 or 4 degrees. Again, relatively mild for the time of year. It's a mild, cloudy start to the day for Thursday. Fingers crossed you might see a bit more sunshine, but generally it's a calm and quiet picture. We've got high pressure firmly in control to thank for that. Temperatures 7 or 8 degrees, those winds easing off. And you guessed it, more of the same as we look towards Friday. Again, it's going to be quite a mild picture as you start the day. Overnight temperatures only dropping to 3 or 4 degrees. Friday, plenty of cloud around. Over into Saturday, we start to see a bit more in the way of sunshine, and then the winds go to a westerly direction. It's slightly milder as we look towards Sunday, but that does also mean we're going to be seeing a bit more cloud. So over the next couple of days, relatively calm. You might see a little bit of patchy drizzle around. Temperatures 6 or 7 degrees, finally a bit milder into the new week. But good news is staying dry, if a little bit gloomy.
All right, thanks, Rachel. Right, that is it from us. I'll be back with a late bulletin just after 10. Until then, you have a lovely evening. Goodbye.